there, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today I am doing a card using this gorgeous hobby house daisy collection. I'm not sure its exact proper name, but it's so pretty. I do love daisies, as you can imagine. So taking this lovely piece of peach card from the pack, it's got a very slight pattern, it's hard to see through the camera I think, and I'm using it to make my card base, and I want to make my card 6 inches by 6 inches overall once it's finished. So I'm starting off with a piece that I've cut to 6 inches by 6 inches, and I'm just checking whether the mat that comes in the kit fits, and then I'm cutting a second piece at 6 inches by 7 inches and scoring it at 1 inch. Now this is my easy peasy card method, and if you want to see this in more detail, I'll put the video on the blog post for you, and it will show you exactly how to make my easy peasy card. And if you want to see the blog post, all you need to do if you're on YouTube is go to the paragraph below this video and click on the bit that says show more. It will open up, and then there will be a link under the heading corresponding blog post. If you click on that, it will take you to the blog post, and I will make sure I put that video on there for you. So I want the patterned card part to be on the inside and also the front, so I'm flipping it so that that happens, and then I'm just using that lovely strong red tape, but you could use wet glue. It's anything that's nice and strong because it's card. Now sometimes when you're doing it this way, when you've got the easy peasy card method and you're putting it on the inside like this, it does get just a smidgen longer on the back piece, because obviously the fold just pushes it down a tiny bit, so you may need to just trim like I did there. So then I got that mat that comes in the pack exactly like that, and I'm just popping it on the inside. So I've just got a slight border of the peach on the inside there, and then I've got that lovely daisy mat which gives me room to write in the middle, but it just really makes that look so pretty on the inside. So now we're going back to the front of the card, and I'm cutting this beautiful pearlescent green, and again all of this comes in the kit, and I'm cutting this to 5 7/8 by 5 7/8, so it's just a little bit further down. And then my daisy piece here I'm cutting to 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then I'm taking the green mat and I'm taking 3 squares, so I think that's probably 1.5 inches, and I'm putting my ruler across at exactly the same point on each side so that I can draw a pencil line and know that it's the exact right angle. So that will be, what, 45 degrees I imagine. And then I'm taking my ruler and my blade and I'm just cutting along that line pretty close to the edges, but not right up to the edges, just leaving a small gap. What you want is the bit at the side that's not cut to be the same width as the mat's going to be around the edge. So when you cut it, you've probably got like 1/8 of an inch on each edge there. So then I'm just taking my eraser and rubbing out the pencil line, and then I've marked the 2 pieces there to make sure that they went in the same way. I just wanted to be sure that that was correct, and then I'm just sliding that into that corner piece there and checking that that's fitting. And you can see now how by cutting it just to the same as the mat width on the green there, so it just makes that sit perfectly. Now sometimes when you cut with the blade it kind of rumples up the edge just very slightly, so I'm just taking that bone folder there and just rubbing it along that edge so that it just smooths that cut line down. It kind of just bumps up slightly, so it's always good to just smooth that out. Now I'm putting wet adhesive on because it gives me some sort of slippy slidey time to put the glue to put the mat in position through that little slit. However, what I didn't think of and do remember is you don't need the adhesive on that corner that's going underneath, because obviously that's sort of not sticking, so I forgot and I did need to wipe that off later. So that's all done, and I just think that's just a really nice detail, and I just think that looks so pretty. And then I'm going to want that to stick to the front, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. First of all I'm going to cut some other mats, and this one is this beautiful blue. It's like a cornflower blue. So I want the mat to fit underneath my lovely topper there. So initially I cut it at 3 inches, but I realised when I was looking at it I really needed to cut it a bit smaller, so I cut it down to 2.5 wide there, because I want to put a green mat underneath as well, just to make it pop, because at the moment it kind of blends a little into the background. So I can see now it's going to fit from the width point of view, but it definitely needed something behind it just to give it a lift from the edge. So the green one is going to be 2 5/8, but basically about a little bit bigger than the blue one, so whatever you decide. At this point I haven't cut the length of it, I'm just going to glue it down because I wasn't exactly sure at that point how long I wanted it to be. I end up cutting it the full width of the height of the card, so it will end up being 6 inches. So if you want to cut it beforehand, that will be what it will be at the end. So you can see now I'm just cutting it down to about 6 inches, and what I wanted was that it sat across the mat and right over to the card base below as well. So making sure when I glue the back of it that I don't go right to the top, because at the moment it's only going onto the mat. I'm not cutting it onto, sorry, not gluing it onto the card base at all. And to be honest, you don't need to worry about that little bit overhanging gluing down. It's going to be stuck more than well enough onto the centerpiece there. So I'm just fiddling around making sure it's centered, and now I'm happy. So I'm moving on to the next stage, which is adding my ribbon. And this is the reason I hadn't as yet stuck that matte layer onto the card base, because I want to tuck that behind our card base and then stick the whole thing down so the edges are nicely tucked out the way. And I've got this gorgeous organza ribbon. This whole set that you saw there, the whole bundle, was included in the collection, and so all the colours are perfect match. But I just really liked the green. I thought that really emphasised the green of the mat and the little corner there, and I just thought it looked really nice. So I've just cut it to length, and then I added a little bit of tape pen on each end and just stuck it around, and then I'm using my Cosmic Shimmer glue and sticking the whole thing down. And just make sure you put a little of the glue over the ribbon as well, so that when you stick it to the card base it really holds it nice and secure, that ribbon, as well as the actual mat. And then as you can see, I just think that looks so pretty with the sort of daisies on the front there, and then opening it up with the daisies in the center. So then I'm taking my topper, and you can see that where you've popped it out there's some little notches because it comes in a sheet. So just go around with your scissors and make sure all of those notches are snipped off, because they just look a bit nasty otherwise. So just going around and doing all of that, and then we're going to pop that down onto the front of the card. Now you'll notice that I'm doing all of this flat, because I am actually going to add some 3D layers later, but so for this section I really didn't think it needed any height to it. And also in the kit or collection is these little paper, well they're really card actually, little daisies that you can pop out and use, and these are the elements that I'm actually going to make 3D, and so that's why I felt that I didn't need to make the others pop up. And also by the time I've added so many layers, they're already getting quite thick already, so it almost doesn't need any extra height with 3D foam. I mean, it would look kind of cool maybe to do it with the topper, but as I say, I'm going to be doing it with these daisies. So in order to create that dimension with the daisies, what I want to do first is snip into all of them, because when I try and sort of do this part to it and bend the paper, it's going to separate the petals. If you hadn't snipped into it, you would struggle to make them get 3D quite as easily. So I'm going around the edges first to pop those one way, and then I'm going on the other side nearer to the center, so that you get kind of like that lovely kind of curve to the shape. And then I'm going into the center with the ball tool and just going round and round in the center to really get that nice shape. And then I want to soften those petals even more to really pop them over on the edges so they kind of flow like a little waterfall around those edges. And this is a nice tool, but anything you've got will work, I'm sure. Even a pencil, the back of the end of it, something like that as long as you don't use the lead end, you won't get marks on it. But one of your markers, anything that you can use like that will work fine. I suddenly just remembered that I actually had a set of tools I hadn't used. I had completely forgotten until I'd sorted my lodge out all that time, you know, a year ago. So I thought this is a perfect time to use the tools for the first time. So here they are all settled and in position, but I decided that I really wanted some leaves, so I got my Martha Stewart punches out, and then I saw the butterfly ones while I was in there and thought that would be kind of cute, so I put a butterfly punch out as well. So first of all, taking one of the scraps of the green cardstock, I'm just punching out some of these leaves. It punched out okay, actually. It's quite heavy cardstock, but it did go through okay, and I think it looks so pretty with that lovely pearlescence going on there. So next I took my butterfly punch and I punched one out of the green, but I'm also going to punch out of the other colours. I wasn't really sure at this point where I wanted the butterflies, so I decided that I would start sticking down my other elements and then see how it kind of worked together. So I'm sticking down first of all my topper, and as I say, I'm doing all of this flat, and then I've got a little sentiment here that says happy birthday, and again it's got lovely little daisies on. Now you could have put another kind of layer, matten layer around these if you wanted, but if you notice, the topper already comes with it a pattern of a blue kind of mat already kind of on there, so I thought it was okay as it was, so I was quite happy. So then I'm taking my little butterfly and I've just folded the wings up, so I'm using my glue gel on the undersides of the wings so that I can make sure the wings stay popped up. So this is where my kind of 3D elements start to come in, and then I've got my second butterfly, and I just think they look really pretty. Just give it some movement and some dimension, and I just think that looks really effective. So then I'm going to stick down my lovely daisies, and you can see how they've come out really nicely now we've 3D'd them. They look really effective, I think, and the paper's kind of slightly shiny, so when I was using the tools on them, it almost made them go more shiny, which is quite nice. And then I'm just pushing, I'm only putting the adhesive on the centres, but if you wanted to, you could put them under the petals if you've got the 3D glue, just to make sure it stays popped up. But I think with the shaping that we've done, it should stay okay even in an envelope. And and also you're putting other flowers underneath and stuff, so I think naturally they're going to hold themselves up enough. And you know how fussy I get about things like that, so I think you know, if I'm not worried about it, then it probably is going to be fine, because I'm such a fusspot about things like that. And then I'm just putting my leaves on, and again I'm just putting a little bit of glue gel on them. It's not massively high, but it just stops you having them like completely flat, so they've just got like slight dimension, but not ridiculously high or anything, but it just gives a bit of, again, that extra bit of dimension, which all helps. So that just looks so pretty. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. And then also in the collection were these beautiful pearls, so I decided to put some on the butterflies, as you can see there, and then I popped out another butterfly because I just felt it needed that extra colour. We've got the 3 colours kind of as the main colours in the card, and I felt like it could do with that extra one there. And then I'm going to put the lovely pearls in the centre, and all I'm doing with that is I'm picking out the colours that complement the card, which is easy because all the colours are in all the elements of the collection are complementing each other, and then I'm just using the 3D glue gel just to pop them there, and I just popped 3 down in the corner as well. And I just think that looks so pretty, and that is our card all finished. And there's the inside, which we've seen. I didn't do anything different to that, and I'm just really pleased with that, and I hope you like it too. I hope you've enjoyed making this card with me, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go on over to the blog post. As I said before, just go under the video, click show more, go under the heading corresponding blog post and click the link there, and you will go over, and on that you will have lots of photos, all the links to products used, etc, etc. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. I'd love to hear your comments, but otherwise that is it for today, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.